Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2, an amazing game from a tactical standpoint. I have so much to share with you in this video. Without any further ado, let's analyze. Alright, so let's start this tactical analysis video by looking at the problem that Manchester United faced against Liverpool. I mean, after all, they completely dominated us in the first half, as well as the adjustments that Erik Ten has made at halftime in order to fix those problems. Now, of course, the first thing we're going to look at is how Liverpool are good at pressing. So here we have Darwin Núñez because, as we know, Liverpool are one of the best teams when it comes to pressing. And so there is actual value in looking how they press and how they cause teams problems. And in this case, Manchester United. So here, Darwin Núñez is actually very smart with how he presses in that he doesn't overcommit to Maguire, but he actually tries to stay between Diogo Dalot and Harry Maguire. And you can see here how he's not actually chasing Kambuala over there. Once Kambuala has the ball, Darwin Núñez is again positioning himself between Harry Maguire and Diogo Dalot. Now, as you can see, this means that the Liverpool players are keeping their defensive integrity, in that they're keeping that kind of compact shape in the midfield, but also with players like Darwin Núñez, players like Luis Diaz, and then a Szoboszlai, for example, in this case, both Szoboszlai and Luis Diaz are going towards our two center backs in order to, force them to play long balls or to go back to the goalkeeper in this case, so they can both keep that defensive integrity. Here, Szoboszlai is looking towards Casemiro over here, making sure that he is occupied either by Mo Salah or Darwin Núñez over here. Once he knows that Casemiro is taken care of, now he can go towards Onana and Harry Maguire. Same thing with McAllister over here, who has identified Diogo Dalot, and he's signaling that Diogo Dalot is free, therefore he needs to be taken by someone, and that's exactly what Darwin Núñez does over here. Notice how Luis Diaz doesn't actually go all the way towards Kambuala. He stays between both of them. Look at that. He doesn't overcommit towards Kambuala. It's more a case of, am I here? Yes, I am. No, I'm not, kind of thing. He's just trying to make it uncomfortable as much as possible for the Manchester United defenders. And as you can see here, Szoboszlai, the most advanced Liverpool players, is the one who's going to come and occupy this space over here. One thing that I like about how Liverpool press, and we have to learn from them in this, when it comes to pressing, is that they're always in front of the ball. They always have players, 10 outfield players in front of the ball, to make sure that they always have players between the ball and whoever is intended to receive it out of the opposition players, in this case Manchester United. So as you can see here again, back in position to kind of keep that shape. And as you can see, it's very hard for Manchester United to do anything right here. Maguire goes towards Marcus Rashford. If Marcus Rashford was a Liverpool or Manchester City player or Arsenal player, he would actually go back towards Aaron Wan-Bissaka and would keep the ball. Let Liverpool chase the ball, but he goes long towards Højlund. That was just a bad choice. Now let's focus on Højlund. The reason why I picked this sequence right here is because it shows the good stuff that Liverpool does, and it also shows where we are lacking as a pressing team. So here, Højlund is of course giving the thumbs up to Rashford, but look at Quansah. Quansah is already scanning what's ahead of him and getting ready for what's to come. He receives the ball, and then here we have the first problem, which is of course Bruno Fernandes marking Endo. But here, what I don't like about the sequence is that who is supposed to be pressing Quansah? As we've seen with Szoboszlai, this is actually Højlund's role. Højlund should be here, trying to put pressure on Quansah, also trying to cut this lane between Quansah and Van Dijk, and also make sure that there are no passing lanes through the middle. But he doesn't. He doesn't come back in position. And here, Bruno Fernandes is going to make a bad decision. He's going to overcommit. What this does is that Endo, who is a very smart player, now can find a loophole between Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. So he moves slightly to his left. Now Casemiro has to commit. And then of course with Casemiro he's many things, but he's not fast and explosive. So for a player like Endo, all he has to do is to just push the ball into space, and then Casemiro cannot really follow through with him. And then a long ball. And that was actually what has resulted in Luis Diaz's chance that could have been a goal. So that's the first problem, and it is the way we press. Now the second problem has to do with the build-up. And here what we have is of course the ball with Kambuala and Maguire, but here Dalot is moving up, and then we have a little box right here. But as you can see from this box right here, this rectangle, is that our players, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, are too far from our center backs, and Diogo Dalot is moving wide. With this kind of shape, you can't really build up. Now there are some teams that do it well, Tottenham and Brighton especially, but their squares, their little boxes are actually much smaller. That way they have a lot of options, they create a lot of passing lanes and triangles, and they can play tic-tac-toe with you, and they make you change the ball until they create some openings, then they go direct through the middle. But here with Manchester United, these players are too far from one another. So here Maguire, what he can do is either go towards Dalot or Garnacho. This is a looped ball, a chipped ball towards Garnacho. It's easy to intercept from Endo. Goes towards McAllister, a very good player. Here, Bruno Fernandes, you can criticize him. However, I think that we are making life extremely hard for our players. No Manchester United midfielder should be in this position. And then there you go, McAllister towards the Liverpool players. Now, here's the thing. Most of the opportunities, you are probably familiar now with the statistic that shows that we are conceding a lot of shots, is due to things like these. We just make it easy for the opposition to sucker punch us, because our build-up is so ineffective. And this is an example of that. Now, when I saw this sequence that I'm about to show you right now, I had a smile on my face because I had the evidence that whoever is in charge of showing the players video footage and telling them, guys, you did this wrong, you have to do it this way, try to improve in this way, did their actual job, and the players were receptive. Because let's have a look. This is in the second half. Look at Bruno Fernandes right here. He knows that he needs to mark Endo, but he also knows that McAllister is free. Why? Because what I showed you in that sequence in the beginning with Endo and Casemiro is that Bruno Fernandes' mistake as he went towards Kwanzaa is that he didn't make sure that someone was with Endo. So he left Endo free to receive the ball. But here what he's doing is that he knows that we need to mark McAllister. So he's telling either Dalot or Casemiro to mark him, which is exactly what Casemiro is going to do. So he comes towards McAllister over there. Now Bruno Fernandes can do what he's supposed to do as an attacking midfielder, which is to shadow the opposition number 6, in this case, Endo. And what's going to happen now is that as Kwanzaa got the ball, Bruno Fernandes is assessing his options. But in this role, what he needs to do is to just stay with the number 6, make sure he's an unattractive option. As you can see, none of the Liverpool players are attractive options because, look, we are keeping our defensive integrity, we are compact, but also Højlund is putting pressure on Kwanzaa, forcing him to make a decision. And then Bruno Fernandes is there. He's watching Endo primarily, but he's also looking at Kwanzaa, and with the side of his eye, he is looking at Van Dijk. And the moment Kwanzaa turns back, Bruno Fernandes knows that he's left-footed. There's a possibility that he's not going to put the best pass, and then he anticipates the situation and comes in this position. And then, guys, ladies and gentlemen, present to you Mr. Hollywood pass. What an amazing goal. And by the way, this is reminiscent for, those of you who are as old as me or older than me. If you remember the David Beckham chip against Birmingham with a beautiful pass from the outside of the foot of Juan Sebastian Veron. I don't have the footage here, but guys, you can go and look at it on YouTube. It's an amazing goal, and this is definitely reminiscent of that. Beautiful goal. What a way of making it 1-1. Now, the second problem, if you remember from earlier in this video, is our build-up phase. Now, again, Bruno Fernandes is going to be a defining factor, a difference maker. So here he comes in and he drops during our build-up phase. And here, the keen-eyed among you may recognize the shape, the 3-2-5, or in some cases 3-1-6 formation that Erik Ten Hag favored in his first season. Usually this role was occupied by Christian Eriksen, but of course after his injury, Christian Eriksen this season has not been the same as the one last season. So I think it's a matter of personnel, because the players who have played alongside Kobbie Mainoo lately have been Casemiro and McTominay. None of them are suitable for this role, and Kobbie Mainoo is over here. I think that Erik Ten Hag prefers him in a slightly more advanced role because of his ball-playing ability, his carrying ability, ball-carrying ability, as well as his ability to finish, as we're going to see later. But here what we have is that with 5 players, we have way more options. 5 players in the build-up, so now we can pass the ball around. As you can see, actually, like, our players are not really comfortable with this, but still, it's an improvement. Aaron Wan-Bissaka can move in. We do have some smart movement, smart interplays. There's always an option to receive the ball. And as you can see, 6 Liverpool players are overcommitted to this side of the pitch. And then we find ourselves in this situation, same sequence, where Bruno Fernandes can put a pass like this, and then Casemiro with a move that only a Brazilian is capable of, a little bit of samba, a little bit of capoeira, and an amazing overhead pass like this towards Kobbie Mainoo. And as you can see, 4v4, because all of the Liverpool players are overcommitted to our half of the pitch, because we had a build-up with 5 players instead of a build-up with 2 center-backs and 2 central midfielders that are too far from them. And of course, as you know, the rest is history. Kobbie Mainoo receives the ball, as he's done against Wolves. He does it again against Liverpool, by the way, guys, again, those of you who remember, this is reminiscent of the Federico Maqueda goal. I think it was in the 2008-2009 season, or probably 2007-2008. That was a crucial goal for us when it comes to winning the league against Aston Villa. I think it's in the same area of the pitch, same angle, same finish, beautiful goal from Kobbie, Mainoo. Now, of course, here, what I'm trying to show you, okay, wait, let me just get back a little bit. Okay, so basically in this video here, what I've presented to you is literally the problems when it comes to how we press as well as the build-up phase, and then the solution. Erik Ten Hag reacted. He saw that Manchester United had issues, and then he made slight tweaks that have given us the advantage. And I know that a lot of people are mad at Erik Ten Hag because of the results. They're mad at him because, you know, he kind of got certain players that have a lot of fans, players like Sancho, Cristiano Ronaldo, David De Gea out of the club. And so a lot of people who are fans of those players may not like Erik Ten Hag. I think that the results have not really been good enough, But one thing that you can't say about Erik Ten Hag is that he's clueless. And like I said in many of my videos, it's not because you don't see something on the pitch that it means that the manager does not know about it or that the manager doesn't try to fix it or to apply it. Sometimes the opposition are just that much better. Sometimes you don't have the right players to apply the tactical principles and ideas that you want to apply. But anyway, this was a very good reaction from a tactical standpoint from Erik Ten Hag against Jurgen Klopp. But of course, I do have a few observations about the game. Now, as you can see here, Aaron Wan-Bissaka marking Darwin Núñez and then Luis Diaz with Kobbie, Mainoo. And as you know, this is the assist provider and this is the goal scorer for Liverpool's first goal. And both of these players, you know, I mean, look at this. First of all, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is getting bullied by Darwin Núñez, and then Kobbie Mainoo already. I mean, look at the distance between Kobbie Mainoo and Luis Diaz. This is not good enough. And here's the thing. I've said in many videos that I always give young players the benefit of the doubt. They're always going to make mistakes like this. Their decision making is questionable. Think about it like this, you know, it's like a student in his first year of college expected to already know what they're gonna write in their, you know, graduation theses, for example. So yes, I mean, these players, they need space, they need time to develop. But I think that Erik Ten Hag should protect Kobbie Mainoo a little more. You know, there are some players that have certain liabilities. Think of Paul Scholes, for example, a legend, one of the best midfielders of his generation, but he could not tackle. And it's fine. Sir Alex Ferguson found a way to hide that weakness that Scholes had. And I think the same thing needs to be applied with Kobbie Mainoo. He's strong physically, he's quite a big guy, but for some reason he's just not good at marking. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka, great tackler, but he's not good in the air. If you remember the Nketiah goal from Newcastle against Arsenal last season when we lost in the Emirates, again, Aaron Wan-Bissaka really slow to react in the air. So this is why we lost. This is why we conceded this goal that we should not have conceded. And of course, still, we reacted well, and we could have won this game. We could have won it. And yet, of course, we cannot talk about a Manchester United game without talking about this bullshit right here. What is this? Look at this. There is no contact. Where is the contact? Okay? And, well, the contact comes later, so literally that's the contact. I mean, seriously, at this point, I just talked about it in my Chelsea video. What is wrong with the Premier League? I mean, the level of refereeing in the Premier League is abysmal. Abysmal. This is not professional level. And this decision, how come there was no VAR check? Had they had a VAR check, this probably would have not been given. And I can tell you for sure, had we switched the jerseys, had this been Garnacho against Bradley, we would not have gotten a penalty. I am confident enough to say it. So yeah, there is a bias against Manchester United. It's clear at this point. So I'm not going to let this result or this penalty really ruin it for me. I think that the Manchester United players reacted well. I think we played very well in the second half. Just the reaction that you need to have against your rivals. And I'm happy with that point. And I'm happy that we are now making it difficult for Liverpool to win the title this season. All right, guys. So before I let you go, I just want to do a quick shout out to Willy Kambuala. What an amazing performance from the young central half. Really, he was amazing. Really aggressive. Extremely confident. You know, I would have collapsed under such pressure if I was him in his situation. But that was an amazing performance. And I think that the timing of his performance is just right. Because right now I am preparing a video on the center back situation. basically where do we go from here, and also what are some of the options that we could bring in to the club in the transfer window. So if you don't want to miss that video, please make sure you subscribe to Scarlet Report and activate your notifications. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tactical analysis video. If you did, please give it the thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Until next time, cheers.